Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are interested in seeing how I take my silver roots to this blonde hair, then don't go anywhere. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be coloring my roots. They are super white, as you can tell. And I'm also going to be putting in some highlights right afterwards. Typically, I will do this in the same day. Some days I will do the, color my roots and then the highlights the next day. But today I'm going to do it all in one day. This is the color that I'm going to be using on my roots. A lot of people keep asking, like, do I still use the dark ash blonde on my roots? Yes, I do. And then a lot of people keep saying, like, how is your hair so blonde though? Because when they put it on their hair, it doesn't turn out that blonde. So I am putting this on white roots. However, I'm not crazy about seeing that darkness around my face. It'll last for a couple weeks if I don't throw in the highlights right away. So I always throw in highlights right around the frame of my face. And then I will break up the line of demarcation on the part also. And I do have a line of demarcation around the front of my hair. And I just don't like that. I could wait for it to grow out. And this is what it will grow out to look like, because I've never put highlights down here. So if you see anything like this, is probably, well, see, all my hair grows in really white. So I don't know why some pieces are lighter than others. I've never put highlights down here. I'm just not that skilled. I only put highlights here, and then sometimes I will have to put it right here, and it's very difficult because the back of my hair grows in a different color. This part of my hair grows in white, like there's no other color, it's just pure white. But back here, as you can see, I still have a lot of my natural color growing in, and the white is kind of sprinkled in there. So when it grows out, it's more of this color, which looks a little bit more like that actually, right? It almost has like a kind of a reddish tint to it. And so because I can't reach back there and do highlights, I never put highlights back there. Like I said, I'm not that skilled. So I'm just trying to get it to be blonde around my face. As a matter of fact, sometimes I don't even put highlights on the part, but usually I like to. So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. I'm gonna do my roots, and then immediately after, I'm gonna go in and just kind of lift that color to the blonde that I like around my face, and that's it, because that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. You can't bleach white hair, so you have to deposit color on it and then kind of lift that color. So to me, it's a really simple process, but if you're not starting out with white hair like I am, then it might not turn out the same, because in order to bleach hair that's darker, like when I bleach this part in the back, or if I, take a few pieces like this one I did kind of recently, I have to leave it in quite a bit longer because that hair grows in darker. So it's just a different process. But I'm gonna show you what I do to get my hair this blonde, because a lot of people have been asking. They're just like, why is your hair all of a sudden so blonde? And I think it's just because sporadically I will just add a few more highlights onto my part, and when it grows out, it just looks a lot blonder. That's the only thing I can think of, because I have not had my hair professionally done in over 15 years. Like, I have been cutting and coloring my own hair. I've been cutting my hair for the last like 30 years, but I've been coloring it for probably at least the last like 15 years by myself I've never had anybody professionally touch the color of my hair in over 15 years. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so I'm probably gonna speed through most of this part, because I feel like most of us at one point in our lives have experimented with coloring our own hair, right? So basically, you just mix the contents in the box, and I just mix them together like this, and then I put it in a bowl, and I actually apply it with a brush just because I find it to be a lot easier, and I can be a lot more precise, because all I want to do is cover the silver. I don't want to take it any further down the shaft of my hair, because I want to keep it really blonde. So I'm only going to do just a really small amount just to cover all of that silver hair. Look at this. This is how silver all my hair is, and I think it's very pretty. I am just not ready for it. My mom's hair, oh my gosh, she gets every time we're together, I feel like she gets compliments on her hair because it's white, but her hair is so thick and it's really long. I mean, I'm talking like down to here, and it's super thick, and it's just so beautiful. Her hair is so freaking beautiful. Like I said, I'm probably gonna speed through this part because it's so basic. Okay, I want you to see how differently the hair grows in the back. You see how much darker that is right there? That's because I don't have as much white hair back here as I do in the front. I still have a lot of my natural color hair, you know? Look at that. So you see how it gets so blonde, and then back here it's like darker. Okay, so I know this looks crazy, and you know, as you can tell, this side is already darkening more because I started with this side, and I still have to leave it in for like 20 minutes. And I feel like because I was filming, and I don't typically film when I do my hair, I feel like I brushed it a little too far past my silver, and so it's probably gonna look a little bit darker than I would like. But like I said, I'm really gonna highlight the areas around my face just to brighten that up. Even though I don't think that this looks bad against my face, I just prefer being really blonde. So anyway, I'm gonna go let this sit, and then I'm gonna go wash it and dry it and come back, and then we'll do some highlights. Okay, so I just blow dried my hair. I didn't bother straightening it or styling it or anything like that because I'm gonna have to rewash it right after this. So as you can see, this is how dark my roots get. That's how dark this box color takes my white roots. And when I pull it up like this, see how you can see how dark it is? And it's just such a, I don't know, it's just a funky transition. Now there was a time that I actually liked having dark roots, but when I knew I was gonna leave it with a dark root, I would kind of take some of the pieces a little bit further in just to give it, I don't know, just a more seamless transition rather than just, you know, so dark like that. And this is what it looks like here. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to put a headband in my hair, especially because I'm gonna start with all of this area right around the frame of my face. And then I just kind of tie the rest of it back. Okay, so here are the things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need some powder bleach. This is the Prism Lights, and this is the violet. It says maximum lifting, 5 levels of lift. And it's a purple tone, so it removes gold and yellow colors. You're also gonna need some 30 developer, looks just like this. And then I always keep a Demi Permanent nearby just in case. Just in case I don't leave the bleach in long enough and the color is a little bit brassy or a little bit orange or yellow or whatever, I can take that right out with a Demi Permanent. And then of course I have the Demi Permanent solution. Now this is a medium ash blonde. And a Demi Permanent is, I use it as a toner, basically. So if I don't get the color that I want, I will put this on top, leave it on for maybe 2 minutes max. You will start to see the color change. You will start to see that unwanted color start to disappear. You don't want to leave it on too long because then you'll probably just darken it back up to the color that you were trying to lighten, you know? But fortunately, whenever you use a Demi Permanent, it will fade with every wash. So I think it's just perfect. I've never had a lot of luck with just regular toners, so I always choose a Demi Permanent. And this actually always comes in handy when I do the back of my hair. Where I still have dark hair that grows in, I have to leave the bleach in a lot longer, and then sometimes I might not get the exact shade of blonde that I like, and so I will have to go in with a Demi Permanent just to take those unwanted colors out. So then you're gonna need a little mixing bowl and a little brush, a brush that's a little bit smaller, and then you're just gonna need a bunch of foils. And I already pre-fold these foils, and I have some in just every single size, and I just fold them 3 ways because I know I'm gonna put my hair there and close them like that. And oh yeah, and then I also have this little tool right here. You're also gonna need a comb. I think that this is a knitting tool, but this is just what I've always used. I'm sure you could buy something a little bit more professional at Sally's or something like that. This has always worked for me, so I've just never replaced it. So now I'm gonna mix my powder bleach with my developer, and I'm gonna do 1 scoop of powder bleach to 2 scoops or 2 spoonfuls of the developer. It's supposed to be, you know, that's the ratio, 1 to 2. And so that is what I'm gonna do. So I have a heaping spoon, and so obviously I'm gonna add, I know how to do this just by eye, but if you don't, then, you know, you probably wanna measure, you know, perfectly. Since I did such a heaping spoonful of that powder bleach, I'm probably gonna do 3 leveled spoonfuls of the developer. I just know the consistency that it's supposed to be. You don't want it to be runny, but you don't want it to be like Play-Doh either. If you are going to make an error when it comes to mixing your solution, you always want to put a little bit more bleach. I remember one time I didn't put enough bleach and I put too much developer and it hardly did anything to my hair, and I was so bummed because, you know, obviously I didn't want to go redo it again. So this is what the consistency is supposed to look like. It's not runny, but it does move, you know, just like that. And as it sits, it will start to become a little bit more firm. So you might have to add a little bit more of a developer, but you just do not want it to be runny. If it's too runny, then it might run into your part and then create just some horrible looking, you know, yellow spots there. So now I'm going to start applying. And the first piece that I always apply is this hair right here. It's kind of my widow's peak. It used to come down really deep, but as I've gotten older, it's just, you know, I've lost hair or something there. So I put my foil there. You can see where the color stops. It literally stops right there. You know, it's kind of hard with these lights because I feel like they're bouncing off the foil, but you could see that the color stops right there. And so that is where I'm going to take my bleach. Now I kind of have to move fast because I only want this bleach sitting on this area of my hair for like 10 minutes. And I do not want this bleach going any further than where that dark hair stops, because this area around the front of my face is the most fragile. I think on most people, just because that's where we do most stuff. Then I literally take another line just straight across, pull it up, and I do that again. I don't typically do a lot of weaving. I keep it pretty solid around the front because I like the front of my hair to look really, really blonde. It's kind of like I'm creating, I don't know, I guess like the money pieces, you know, they're pretty solid, I would think, right? I don't know, I've never gone and had a money piece done, so I've never been able to watch somebody do it. You know what's one thing that I really love watching? Oh my gosh, if somebody cuts their own hair, I cannot look away. I just love it so much. I love watching somebody cut their own hair. Now these pieces stick out too, and I want to get all of the hair that's right around my face. See that? So I feel like this foil kind of fits it. That's a little too big of a foil. Oops. Yeah, just like that. I feel like I did my foils a little too big. I might have to go get some others. That might be too much. Yeah, it did. That's too much. This hair right here is so fragile. I think I've over bleached it one time, and I'm like, ever since then, I'm just trying to repair it as best I can without cutting it. And you don't want to do that when you're trying to repair your hair. Do not want to get bleach on it. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to do something with that. Okay. I'm telling you, this color will lighten within 10 minutes. Now, the reason that this color will lighten so quickly is because, like I said, it was white, and then I put a darker color on it, and now I'm just lifting that darker color just a bit. This hair around the face is so tricky, and you have to be so precise, because if you leave anything out, it's like it's real obvious. Gosh, I'm having a hard time with these lights. I can't tell. I'm having a hard time with these lights, and I can't tell if I'm going down far enough with my bleach. Now this area is so important to me because it frames my face, and it's where my hair parts. Now, usually I never finish this process in one day. Usually I do it one day, and then the next day I find little spots that I'm like, oh no, I have to get that. I'm not gonna be able to live with it. And then I go back in with some more foils and do it again. Okay, I'm starting to not be able to see. So usually what I do is I'll fold some back so that I can see what I'm doing. And you know, those ones in the front, they might already even be ready. I gotta hurry this along. Okay, now I need some more over here. Actually, I think I'm gonna put one more. Okay, so I am gonna take one more little sliver. I need it up to that one. And I think that's where I'm gonna stop with the bleach. Now, if I'm gonna do anything past this, then I probably would weave it in and out. Okay, you can see exactly where that color is. Yeah, look at that hair. That looks fried. I'm good, guys. This is how I do it though. I always get worried with this hair right here because I know it's fragile. You know what? I'm gonna stop right here because like I said, this bleach, especially around the front of my face, only needs to be on here for like 10 minutes. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do my part today just because, like I said, usually this takes me 2 days. You know, usually I start out, I definitely get the frame of my face the same day. And then I will like look at my part and be like, can I handle that? You know, can I deal with that for a few days until it fades or not? And I'll go from there. So, you know what, let's just go ahead and check this very first one that I put in just to see what it looks like. Cause I wanna show you the color that you're looking for. Yeah, that's done. That is definitely done. So you see how, yep. Okay, as you can see, that piece is definitely done. And it always looks like it darkens like right where the bleach stops and then my other hair comes in. And so I take it down just a baby bit and I leave it in for like a minute just so that it blends a little bit better. But yeah, that's definitely light enough. Which one was the next one that I did? I think I did, ooh, it's burning my fingers. So like I said, you only want these sitting in your hair, look at that, for maybe 10 minutes. And anything longer, you're gonna fry your hair. You don't wanna do that. So that one's definitely ready too. I'm gonna let that sit, look at that. I feel like I missed a little piece right there and that's gonna drive me crazy. So this is when I start rinsing. And I don't do it all at once, you know, because I'm just trying to lift the color. So I don't want it to stay in there too long because I don't want to lose my hair. You know what? I just decided to take another one out. Let's just take most of them out because I feel like it takes me 10 minutes just to do the other ones. You know what I mean? And since we're only lifting the color, like I said, you don't want it in there that long. And if you go too blonde with it, you can also use the Demi Permanent. Now that one, I think was the last one, was one of the last ones that I put in, so I don't want to take that out yet. So we're gonna leave that. So I just take it down just a little bit like that. I feel like I need to rinse those. And then I'm gonna let that one sit there a little bit longer. Okay, y'all, so I left the color in at least 10 minutes for each foil. And I just went and rinsed it out. Well, I washed it and conditioned it. And now I'm gonna let it dry. Actually, I'm going to fix my hair. I gotta go pick up my son now. So I will probably, because I know, like I said, this usually takes me like 2 days because I didn't even get this area. Because the foils, I'm not a professional. So this is how I do my hair at home. I just do not like going to a salon. I just don't. It's very uncomfortable for me. I don't know what it is, but well, I do know what it is. I just don't like people waiting on me in some way or having to create, you know, small talk and chit chat. And okay, so here we are the next day and this is how the color turned out up front. And y'all, it is absolutely perfect. Look at that. There's no line of demarcation. I did not have to use a toner. It's just perfect. And I think a lot of it has to do with the bleach since it's a violet. It, like I said, it cancels out some of those unwanted colors. So the color came out beautifully. Now, I cannot stand these dark pieces around my face right there. So those have to go. I'm actually gonna do those first, and then we're gonna deal with my part. I think that you can even see where I've put in highlights before, and I'm just gonna pick those up and take them to the root, basically. And I'm only gonna stay on the part because my hair parts in the exact same place every single time. Like, I don't even have to part it. It just naturally, the second I take my hair down from a towel, it literally like parts itself right there. And I'm most concerned with what you guys see, what I see in the mirror. Everything else that's underneath, I know that it's gonna fade, and I know that it's gonna end up being a pretty color, so I'm not worried about it. I just wanna get through that first week and a half or something before it fades, because I cannot stand seeing that darkness around my face. And I did take off my nails because they started to fall off, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't wanna like glue any on or anything like that, so I was just like, let's take them all off. Now, I learned this little trick from a hairdresser one time. I had already started doing my own hair occasionally, but I wasn't doing it. It wasn't all silver yet, so I was not doing it all by myself. And he had told me that if you want to get these pieces that are real fine, you can just take your brush and pull real tight and then kind of lightly coat them. And so that is what I'm going to do in this area, because this area is always kind of hard for me because the hair is so fine and I don't want to leave anything out. So this is how I do it. I don't do it so heavily. I just do it very, very lightly like this. Just kind of like that. I feel like I went a little bit too heavy in that one spot. Now, the thing with doing it this way is that when you don't cover it with foil, it will dry out. Once it dries out, it's almost like the bleach stops bleaching. You know, it just stops making the hair lighter. So that's the reason that most hairdressers like cover with foil, because when it stays moist, it continues to get blonder. Okay. So kind of like that. I don't need to do every single strand. Oops. Okay, so just like that. And you see how it's kind of clumpy right there? I just kind of take a comb and kind of go like this just a little bit. Okay. This piece definitely wants to be in there. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and I'm just gonna leave that there, and let's do the other side. And just lightly brush that color in there. And y'all, he told me to do this like when I still had like dark roots. That's how long ago it was, and it worked. Now, it didn't work on all parts of my hair, but around my hairline, it seems to work just perfectly. Okay, so just like that, and I feel like I need a little piece right there too. I think this side looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, so just like that around the ears. Now I'm gonna take this down and we're gonna do some of these pieces up here. Now, you can see where I've put them before. I wonder if it'll help if I turn off these lights. See, it gets so dark. Now you can see how much darker it is. But okay, so now you can see where those highlights are. And I'm just gonna pick them up like this. And I'm gonna take them to the root there. I'm not gonna start with that one though. I'm gonna start a little bit further back. So I'm gonna start with this little piece way in the back. And you can see that it's a little bit darker on the end where, I just colored, because I just gave myself a recent highlight in the back somewhere because, like I said, my hair parts back there, and then it looks so dark. Okay, so now you can see what it looks like. Just like we did before. This is why it's a little bit hard once you get to the back, because it's very hard to see back there. Okay, and then I kind of want to make sure it goes all the way down to the root like that. I'm going to take this piece. As you can see, it's dark to there. Let's get that piece. And when I put these towards the back, for whatever reason, I'm just not as concerned with overlapping the bleach because I don't always touch up my highlights every time. And so I feel like they're a little stronger. My hair around my face is different. It's very, very fragile because that's the part that I'm always styling and I always bleach it right away. So there is that. Now I'm not gonna take that big of a, that's a little bit too big. I'm just gonna go like this. And like I said, I only do the part. And I know there's probably hairdressers out there right now cringing at the fact that I only do the part, but that's what I do. And I feel like it looks just fine. But y'all, I'm also, I know some of y'all probably think it's hilarious, but if you grew up in the 90s, then you probably remember Christina Aguilera's hair when she had all those chunky highlights. And oh my God, I loved that look. I thought it was just so awesome. And so I had some real big blonde, dark chunks in my hair also. But then also kept it super, super blonde around my face. And when that went out of style, I was like, no, because to this day, I still love that those chunky looking highlights. I don't know why, it looks like I missed a little part with the silver down there. It looks like it's silver at the root, which means somehow I probably missed a whole row if that's the case, but I'm still gonna lighten this one. Maybe not, because that does look darker. But the thing with me and chunky highlights is I have that kind of texture of hair that it never just lays flat. It's almost impossible. My hair is so reactive to like humidity and stuff like that, and it can grow really fast, grow big really fast in humidity. And so because of that, even if I had chunky highlights, they never looked like chunky highlights. I mean, occasionally you could see one or two, but they would have to be really thick chunks in order for them to show. Okay, I do like to leave some dark in there because my dark hair from underneath in the back always wants to peek through, ends up looking like low lights. So of course I don't want it to be so solid blonde around here, which is why I don't highlight anything past my part also. And so, but I definitely like pieces way, way, way up front. Y'all, when I'm not recording, I move so much faster than this. Look at these colors already. That's already looking so good. Yeah, that is looking so good. You know, I might want to put a little bit more. Like I said, if it doesn't stay moist, it stops developing. And I feel like this little piece needs a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Now, what I'm doing here is I just like to push the foil all the way to my head, all the way down, because if it's up a little bit, it's not going to develop as well. And that one was just up, so that stinks. So am I going to want one like right here? Maybe not. Okay, this seems to be coming out just perfect. I can just tell. It's that nice like lavender looking color. Yeah, that's gonna look good. Okay, so now I'm gonna go set a timer, and I'm actually you know, these have to be in for 10 minutes. This one probably has already been in for 10 minutes, so I might check that. You know what, let's check it now. Let me fold these back so that you can see what the color looks like right now. And that is almost done. Yeah. So I'm just gonna actually let this one dry out on its own. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more at the base there. So as you can see, it looks like this one has already lightened as much as it needs to because it's been sitting in there for 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna leave that out because like I said, once it dries, it stops lightening and it dries pretty quick. It's almost like clay, you know? Okay, so now I'm gonna let these sit for about 10 minutes. And because it took me a while to put in all the foils, because I'm pretty slow, I am gonna check them one by one from where I started from the back and come forward with it because I don't want them to bleach too much. You know, I don't want them to be white. These I feel like in the front are perfect. I don't think I'm gonna need to tone them or anything. And I think they're done because they're hard. And so once they're hard, like I said, the bleach stops working. Okay, I went ahead and rinsed this one. I just put some cold water on it just to stop it from bleaching. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these just to show you what they look like. And again, I just like to take my fingers and go up the shaft of my hair just so that it blends real well in the ends. Was this the last one that I did? I feel like I didn't get enough right there. We're gonna find out. Okay, you see how it looks like it's real blonde and then you can see some of my color there. I'm gonna just pull that just so that it lightens it just a bit so that it blends real well. If it does not blend real well, I'm never gonna go back with bleach. I will only go back with like a toner. Oh, that was the last one that I put in. No wonder. Oops. No, that one needs to stay in longer. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be so thick. Uh-oh. I feel like that one might be way too thick. Oh no. Maybe so. Y'all are gonna be shocked at how just adding those few pieces to my part really just brightens up my whole head of hair. I want this one because it was the last one that I put in. I want it to sit for just a couple more minutes and then I'm gonna wash all of it out. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to show you something while it's still wet. As you can see, there's the highlights that I put in. They go all the way to the top. I definitely need to put another one back here, but that's gonna be for another day because like I said, when I have to start doing something back here, and I might just put in like 2 or 3 in this little area because that's where it still grows in dark, but it's gonna take a lot longer. Now this area came out just looking beautiful, look at that. And I didn't even have to foil that. I just brushed that in. But again, all I'm doing is lifting the color that I just put on. I'm not lifting natural brown hair or natural dark blonde hair. All I'm doing is lifting that color that I just put on my white hair. So all of this is really gonna brighten up my face just because it's so blonde around here now, and that's what I want. But this, believe it or not, is really gonna brighten up the top also. It's amazing how just a few little blonde stripes really like lighten the whole top of my head. And of course I like the whole frame of my face just to look really bright. So I'm gonna go blow dry my hair and style it and I'll be back. Okay, so this is the final cut and color. I say cut because I think I told you guys at the beginning of this video, I don't know, the beginning of this video was so long ago for me, it was yesterday, but I have been chopping on my hair again. And so it's quite a bit shorter. I just wanted it shorter in the back and I wanted it to swoop in like this. I wanted it to be a little bit longer in the front. Somebody left me a comment recently and they said, you remind me of a modern day Marilyn Monroe. And I'm like, oh my God, like now I have to go a little bit shorter, and you know, she should not have told me that, because that is going to go straight to my head and like stay there forever. Like now I think I'm Marilyn Monroe. I don't know, should I do the pose? Like she always has like this smile with her eyes like fluttering or something, but she kind of has bigger, like really bedroom eyes. Anyway, I know I don't look like her, but I guess maybe the hair a little bit. So this is how the color turned out, and I feel like I nailed it again. I have gotten so good at this. It's one thing that I'm actually pretty confident in, because I have been doing it for so long. I've been coloring my hair for the last 15 years, cutting it for the last like 30, and it's all been trial and error. And I feel like you learn best from trial and error. And so anyway, here's the color. I wanted you guys especially to see this section right here, because look at that. That's where I just brushed it on. Like I didn't even use the foils, but again, I was just lifting permanent hair color that I had just put on white hair. So it's different. It's different than when you're actually lightening natural light brown hair. You know what I mean? You would have to leave it on a lot longer. And then as you can see, oh, here, let me brush it a little bit straighter. As you can see, these are the highlights that I took all the way to the top. Now I am gonna have to do something about the back there. Here, let me just show you. Like it's so blonde right in here, and then I feel like towards the back, you know, there's just, it looks like there's low lights coming through because of my other, you know, my darker hair coming through, which I don't mind, but I can't have it so bold blonde like right there and then have such dark pieces right in here. So I might just add like just a couple, maybe 2 or 3 across the back so that they lay down and just kind of make it look a little bit blonder in the back there. And then as you can see on this side, you could probably see where I took those highlights to the top there. And so, yeah. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate your time. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend, and hopefully I will see you back here next week.